That's right. That's some new theme music going on here. Trying it. I'm steady changing it, trying to make it a little better, a little better, a little better. All right, here we go. All right, by the way, that's homemade. Anyway, Chicago police says they're investigating the case of an officer who picked a man up and slammed him down on the street during an arrest Thanksgiving afternoon. An incident that was captured on video. Captured on video, telling you. Police said the officer performed an emergency takedown after the man spat in the officer's face and threatened him, but the brief video starts only at the onset of the takedown and doesn't show what led to it. While a single video does not depict the entirety of the interactions between the police and the individual, the particular video is very disturbing, said Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Police said investigators will examine closely what led to the incident, which was shared on social media. If wrongdoing is discovered, officers will be held accountable, police said in a statement. It is my expectation that the investigation will be comprehensive and expedited so the public may gain a complete picture of what happened, Lightfoot tweeted. The episode comes nearly 3 years after U.S. Justice Department, following a 13-month review of Chicago police, reported it had found a pattern of unconstitutionally excessive and deadly force within the city agency. The incident happened near a busy intersection on the city's south side, just off the covered up a bus stop bench in a commercial district. The 29-year-old man appeared motionless in the moments after he was slammed onto his back and head hit the concrete. He was taken to a hospital in stable condition, police said. Details about his injuries or condition Friday morning weren't immediately available. The names of the injured man and the officers involved were not released. The incident began when officers in an unmarked vehicle saw the man drinking alcohol at a covered bus stop at East 79th Street near Cottage Grove. The officers pulled over and began detaining him. They claimed the offender became irate and licked the face of an officer and verbally threatened the officer. Shortly after, the offender then spit in the same officer's eye and mouth. Then the officer performed an emergency takedown, taking the offender to the ground. That's what the police statement said. The 43-second video captured by Giovanna Jameson, a passenger in a nearby car, begins the moment before the officer picks the man up. The unmarked police SUV was stopped in the right lane, blocking traffic with emergency lights flashing just next to the bench. Wearing a hoodie that covers his head, the detained man was standing against the SUV. The officer was right behind him with at least one hand on his back. The officer then wraps his arms around the man's torso, lifts him up, and slams him to the street on his back. The man's head hit the concrete right at the edge of the street. The man does not appear to move for the rest of the video. Another man, apparently an officer in plain clothes, comes into view and stands over him, appearing to check on him. Jameson was in a car stopped in traffic behind the SUV. The video ends as traffic clears and the passenger's car is driven away. The detainee didn't do anything aggressive. He just stood there, Jameson told Chicago television. He was standing there using his cell phone. They took away his bottle of liquor and threw it. Officers immediately notified EMS and the offender was taken into the University of Chicago in stable condition. That's what the police statement to CNN reads. The officer was also sent to the hospital without elaborating. The incident is under investigation. The actions in the video are concerning, police said in the statement posted to Twitter. So here we go with another one of those, my word against your word type situations. And here's a situation here. Following Supreme Court oral argument, Kamala Harris resolution affirms 150-year-old federal civil rights law. Washington, D.C., Senator Kamala Harris introduced a Senate resolution affirming the importance of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, Section 1981, one of the country's fundamental anti-discrimination laws. Harris' resolution follows oral argument in the United States Supreme Court case Comcast Corporation versus National Association of African American Owned Media and Entertainment Studios Network Incorporated. The issue before the court is whether victims of race discrimination must meet the burdensome but for causation standard in order to proceed with claims under the oldest federal civil rights law. If successful, Comcast's arguments would narrow a key civil rights law that protects against race discrimination. Just 1 year after the Civil War, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866 to remove barriers to contracting and black economic advancement. It ensures that newly freed slaves enjoy the same rights as other citizens. This case threatens to limit the effectiveness of our oldest civil rights law and could prevent countless victims, particularly black people of color, from pursuing claims of race discrimination in all courts. This is why I'm proud to lead my Senate colleagues in a resolution to affirm the importance of upholding long-standing protections against discrimination. More than a century ago, the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 is absolutely outrageous that one of the largest media companies in the world would have the audacity to petition the U.S. Supreme Court to hear arguments in a case that undermines this vital law. Nearly 10 years ago, when Comcast sought to merge with NBC Universal, both companies were forced, under pressure from efforts of Congress and the FCC, to commit to credible diversity and inclusion initiatives as a condition for the merger. Today, they are seeking to effectively destroy one of our nation's oldest civil rights statutes dating back to the Reconstruction. In doing so, Comcast is opening the floodgates to discrimination in business contracts with no legal remedy of recourse. Those of us who know our history understand all too well the harmful impact that could have on future generations of entrepreneurs and creators of color. So that's Comcast in a nutshell. Comcast is trying to basically overturn the Civil Rights Act of 1866, and this has been in effect over 150 years, and they're trying, because they don't want to be inclusive on what they're doing, they're going to try to overturn this constitutional amendment. Comcast, thumbs down. Get you a Fire Stick or a Roku and just cut the cord. A Kentucky mom couldn't find a Christmas story about a black boy, so she wrote her own. Sitting comfortably in his mother's embrace, Nick Cummings, 11, holds a book in his lap, pointing to the pages filled with illustrations of a little boy whose features mirror his own. Big brown eyes, a box cut of curly black hair, and a charming smile. He opens to his favorite part of the story when the character organizes a job fair and a toy drive to help a classmate in need. Nick points to the book's dedication on the front page, where he is quoted, "I like this book because it makes me feel like Christmas, and I like feeling like Christmas." From the sofa in his family living room in Middleton, Kentucky, Nick says Christmas feels warm and comfy and cozy. It feels like family. The book in his hands, written by Nick's mother, Dee Dee, is about a boy who saves Christmas. A common enough storyline, but this one is different. After years of collecting children's books and Christmas books, Dee Dee Cummings could not find one with a character who looked like her son. She knew how important it was for her son to see a character he could admire, so she wrote one of her own. In the Nick of Time is inspired by Nick. The book's protagonist, Nick Saint, is a fiery, kind, thoughtful, and full of life, Cummings says. Just like the real life Nick, he lives a very fortunate life, his mother said. In the story, Nick's biggest worry is waiting for the mailman to deliver his new video game until he accidentally received a letter addressed to Santa Claus from a student at his school named Cooper, whose only Christmas wish is for his mother to find a job. Although the book's illustrations feature a young boy of color, the story doesn't directly address race. It doesn't need to, Cummings said. It's just about the holidays and about recognizing when you have blessings and to be grateful for them. Cummings said, Nick comes to realize that Christmas is not just about getting gifts. It's about helping people and recognizing those around you who are in need. And let's see, where can you find this book? Where can you find this book? Trying to see where you can find it. So, still trying to find out where you can find this book. So, okay, the book is called In the Nick of Time, and it is Cummings' first book inspired by our children. The Louisville native has published 10 other stories, 2 of them about her older children who are 22 and 27 years old. Kayla, a modern-day princess, is a story about how Cummings struggled as a young working mom, afraid that her daughter Kayla would resent her hours away from home. And another book called My Dad's Job is about her son Anthony, who often asks his father, Cummings' husband, when are you going to teach me how to be a man, without realizing that every day his dad was showing him how to take care of the home and the family. So Cummings, as a private practice therapist, started writing children's books after she spent years as a counselor for children in the foster care system. She helped children write their own stories and told them they were in control of their narrative. And still trying to find where you can buy this book, but I'm gonna take a guess that you can probably get it from Amazon or your local bookstore. Her name is Dee Dee Cummings. That's Deedee Cummings, Cummings, and that first book was called In the Nick of Time, and 2 of her other books are Kayla, a modern-day princess, and the third book is My Dad's Job, but she has several other books. She has actually 10 books. So look for her, say a black lady named Dee Dee Cummings, and she's a promising author out there of books for all kids, but they inspire young black kids because their pictures are, some couple of little kids book, like pictures and stuff in there look like them. So gotta inspire any way you can. Inspiration. My new theme song. It's the news, baby.